Good morning. Today we are reading from chapter 5, The Law of Non-Resistance. Here it is. In the Game of Life and How to Play It. This is chapter 4. The Law of Non-Resistance. Resist not evil. Be not overcome of evil. Overcome evil with good. Nothing on earth can resist an absolutely non-resistant person. I love that. Don't fight it. Acceptance is the key to all our problems. The Chinese say that water is the most powerful element because it is perfectly non-resistant. It can wear away a rock and sweep all before it. Jesus said, "Resist not evil," for he knew in reality there's no evil, nothing therefore to resist. Evil has come of man's vain imagination, or a belief in two powers, good and evil. That's true. People say, I don't believe in God because of all the bad things happening on earth. The bad things happening on earth are from humans, not from God. It's humans who are, running on their own self-will, not living in alignment with God's will. There's an old legend that Adam and Eve ate of Maya, the tree of illusion, saw two powers instead of one power, God. Therefore, evil is a false law man has made for himself through psychosoma, or soul sleep. Soul sleep means that man's soul has been hypnotized by the race belief of sin, sickness, and death, etc., which is carnal or mortal thought. His affairs have outpictured his illusions. That's all. She's using a lot of old-fashioned language here. I don't know what, let's see. Psychosoma, or soul sleep, meaning like you're running on like your conscious mind. You're not even trying to be good, or maybe you're trying to get what you want and not. I'm just guessing. I'm just reading and interpreting the text as I see it. But evil is a false law man has made for himself through soul sleep. Soul sleep means that man's soul has been hypnotized into using the carnal or mortal thought of sin, sickness, and death. We have read a preceding chapter that man's soul is his subconscious mind. Whatever he feels deeply, good or bad, is outpictured by that faithful servant. Man's soul is his subconscious mind, and whatever he feels deeply, good or bad, is outpictured by that faithful servant of the subconscious mind. His body, good or bad, his body, the affairs, show forth what he has been picturing. The sick man has pictured sickness, the poor man poverty, the rich man wealth. People often say, why does a little child attract illness when it was too young to even know what it means? I answer that children are sensitive and receptive to the thoughts of others about them, and often outpicture the fears of their parents. So when she's saying outpicture, she means like projecting into reality. I heard a metaphysician once say, if you do not run your subconscious mind yourself, someone else will run it for you. Mothers often unconsciously attract illness and disaster to their children by continually holding them in thoughts of fear and watching for symptoms. For example, a friend asked a woman if her little girl had the measles. She replied promptly, "Not yet." This implied that she was expecting the illness and therefore preparing the way for what she did not want for herself and her child. So again, remember, we're talking about the law of non-resistance. However, the man who is centered and established in right thinking, the man who sends out only goodwill to his fellow man, and who is without fear, cannot be touched or influenced by the negative thoughts of others. The man who sends out only goodwill, and who is without fear, cannot be influenced by the negative thoughts of others. Basically like filling your bucket. There's an awesome children's book. Actually, I have it right here. This one. This author, she wrote several. Carol McLeod is awesome. So basically, if you have your own bucket filled by doing things that nourish your soul, I'm doing this right now. This is nourishing for me. I've been going to the gym lately. Not even like big. I like stop by after work. I do a few reps, and I go home, and it's nothing. I don't even change out of my street clothes. I been going to, I found like worship, jazz, live music, just healing vibration. I mean, I go to recovery meetings, all kinds of nourishing things that you can do to keep your bucket full. The thing I'm trying to work on is doing a self-worth gratitude list every day. I'm just doing a regular gratitude list. Those are so helpful. Holy cow. Anyway, if you're able to do things to keep your bucket full, you can be more focused on the good in your life. It's easier to send out goodwill to your fellow man. In fact, he could then receive only good thoughts, as he himself sends forth only good thoughts. Resistance is hell, for it places a man in a state of torment. I can relate to that. There's something I'm resisting lately. It gnaws at me. If I can just focus on acceptance, then there's nothing to resist. A metaphysician once gave me a wonderful recipe for taking every trick in the game of life. It is the acme of non-resistance. He gave it in this way. At one time in my life, I baptized children, and of course, they had many names. Now I no longer baptize children, I baptize events. I give every event the same name. If I have a failure, I baptize it success. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. I like that. In this, we see the great law of transmutation, founded on non-resistance. Through his spoken word, every failure was transmuted into success. I love that. Transmutation. Turning. Basically, the law of change, changing something from bad to good. Through his spoken word, every failure was turned into a success. For example, a woman who required money and who knew the spiritual law of opulence was thrown in a business way continually with a man who made her feel very poor. He talked lack and limitation, and she commenced to catch his poverty thoughts. She disliked, this page came out. So she disliked him and blamed him for her failure. She knew in order to demonstrate her supply, she must first feel that she had received. A feeling of opulence must precede its manifestation. That's in italics. That's important. It dawned on her one day that she was resisting the situation and seeing two powers instead of one. So she blessed the man and baptized the situation success. She affirmed there's only one power, God, this man is here for my good and my prosperity. Just what he did not seem to be there for. I love this. He was resisting the situation. You have to see everything as blessed and everything as good, and it's working towards success. Everything is here for my good and my prosperity. Soon after that, she met, through this man, a woman who gave her for a service rendered several $1,000s. The man moved to a distant city and faded harmoniously from her life. Make the statement, every man is a golden link in the chain of my good. For all men are God in manifestation, awaiting the opportunity given by a man himself to serve the divine plan of life. Bless your enemy and rob him of his ammunition. His arrows will be transmuted into blessings. This law is true of nations as well as individuals. Bless a nation, send love and goodwill to every inhabitant. It is robbed of its power to harm. Man can only... Why not? Why not believe it? It seems like quite a stretch to believe that. I love the view out my window. Seems like a stretch that just by believing a nation is good, they will start being good. But, why not? Why not? The least you could do. Man can only get the right idea of non-resistance through spiritual understanding. My students have often said, I don't want to be a doormat. I reply, when you use non-resistance with wisdom, no one will ever be able to walk over you. Another example. One day I was impatiently awaiting an important telephone call. I resisted every call that came in and made no outgoing calls myself, reasoning that it might interfere with the one I was waiting for. Instead of saying divine ideas never conflict, the call will come at the right time. Leaving it to infinite intelligence to arrange, I commenced to manage things myself. I made the battle mine, not God's, and remained tense and anxious. The bell did not ring for about an hour, and I glanced at the phone and found the receiver had been off that length of time, and the phone was disconnected. My anxiety, fear, and belief in interference had brought on a total eclipse of the telephone. Realizing what I had done, I commenced blessing the situation at once. I baptized its success and affirmed, I cannot lose any call that belongs to me by divine right. I am under grace and not under law. A friend rushed out to the nearest telephone to notify the company to reconnect. Oh, it's so old-fashioned. I love it. She entered a crowded grocery, but the proprietor left his customers and attended to the call himself. My phone was connected at once, and 2 minutes later, I received a very important call. About an hour afterwards, the one I had been awaiting. One's ships come in over a calm sea. I love that. Think of your mind as a calm sea. Just think of a calm sea. Beautiful. The seagulls are flying above. The ships are passing by in the distance. Maybe there's some kids playing. Gentle waves lapping at the shore. The wet sand. Non-resistance. As long as a man resists a situation, he will have it with him. If he runs away from it, it will run after him. That's what to read only a page at a time. It's so hard to quit. And this idea is so interesting. The law of non-resistance. Basically, you can make a goal for yourself today. Anytime you feel something kind of trigger you, anytime you get like that a feeling of anxiety or anger, just remember, you don't even have to practice it. Just notice it. Just notice that you're resisting. You can baptize the situation as success.